Today we will discuss about theories of capital structure. So when you look at capital structure, first of all we should understand what is capital structure. Capital structure means the combination of debt and equity in the capital structure. So when we use finance for business organization, we use different sources for it. So when you look at different sources, we have debt, equity, maybe preference shares. So we can use these components in different combinations. Uh, we can use equity alone, or we can use a mix of debt and equity, or we can use a mix of debt, equity, and preference shares. So this combination is called capital structure. So when you look at capital structure, why we discuss theories of capital structure? Because there is a question arise. If you change the capital structure, whether it will have some impact on something. So these theories argues about it. So when you change capital structure, how much it makes impact on the overall cost of capital and value of the firm. So all these theories of capital structure discuss about it. Like if you change the capital structure, how much it will make impact on value of the firm and overall cost of capital. So what do you mean by ideal capital structure? So when you decide the capital structure, you need to have a reference. What could be the ideal capital structure? So look at the features of ideal capital structure. It should minimize the cost of capital. That is self-explanatory. We know we always we need to try to reduce the cost. So it should minimize the cost of capital. It should reduce risk. So when you carry more debt in capital structure, automatically the perception of investors will be like if a company having more debt, then always risk is more. So we need to reduce risk. It provides flexibility. So when you fix a capital structure, we need to fix a room for changing the capital structure. We should not use the maximum debt. So that also a feature or a component or a factor which gives to fix an ideal capital structure. It helps to ensure ownership and control. That means if you change the capital structure, and if you carry less debt and more equity, and in future if you want more finance, again if you are sourcing more equity, that reduces the control of existing owners. So that also a factor we can consider while fixing the capital structure. If you want to have more control, then ideally we can suggest more debt rather than more equity, because if you have more equity into the capital structure, automatically it dilutes the ownership. It enables the company to have adequate finance. That's the next feature of an ideal capital structure. We should provide adequate finance always based on the requirement of a company. We should ensure the required amount of capital structure. Then it should maximize the value of the shareholders and wealth of the shareholders. So whenever we are talking about capital structure, we should ensure enough source of finance. Apart from that, that should give more wealth and value to shareholders. Then when you have this question, like if you change the capital structure, what will happen to overall cost of capital and value of the firm? We have different arguments and theories. We have four theories. First we will look into the first theory, that means net income approach. Let's see what this theory says. Net income approach says it's a relevant theory. Why it is a relevant theory? It means if you change the capital structure, the overall cost of capital comes down and it increases the value. That means if you change the capital structure, it influences the overall cost of capital and value. That is the way we call it as it's a relevant theory. Net, what is the ideal capital structure according to this argument? In this case, when you use more debt, overall cost of capital comes down. That means if you increase the debt in proportionate to increase in debt, overall cost of capital come down and value increases. So when you look at the ideal capital structure under NI argument, says like this. Um, when you use maximum debt, that means 100% debt in the source, then that gives the maximum value and minimum cost of capital. So according to NI approach, um, the ideal capital structure is the situation where we are using 100% debt. So what are the components of this approach? How to decide or how to determine the value of the firm under this argument, that we need to see. So net income approach. What do you mean by net income? Net income means, so we have two types of income. One we'll call it as operating income. Another one it is called, like I said, net income. What is operating income? Operating income means the income generated in the business before paying interest. That means total income minus all expenses expect interest. That is net operating income. So if you deduct interest from net operating income, that gives you net income. So how to calculate value of the firm? Value of the firm in this case is equal to S plus B. S means value of shares, B means value of debt. And how to calculate market value of equity under this approach? Net income divided by KE. KE means cost of capital, cost of equity. Net income divided by cost of equity. So if you want to capitalize it, we'll put 100. That means the base is the percentage of cost of capital, cost of equity. So you will get value of equity. So if you get value of equity, take the total of value of equity and debt, you will get value of firm. Then if you want to calculate value of the firm by using overall cost of capital, you can use EBIT or operating income divided by weighted average cost of capital. So we have some assumptions for this theory. So this argument exists when these assumptions are considered. Otherwise, these arguments are not true. So before we are getting to the calculation and proving this model, we should understand the assumptions or background behind this theory. So what are they? There are no corporate tax. So that means for the purpose of arguing this theory, we are not considering any corporate tax. Then the cost of debt is less than cost of equity. That is another assumption. That means the cost of debt should be less than cost of equity. And the debt capitalization rate and equity capitalization rate remain constant over a period of time. It won't change. That is another argument or another assumption where there is no change in equity capitalization rate and cost of debt. The proportion of debt does not affect the risk perception of investors. The proportion of debt does not affect the risk perception of investors. That's the next point. Then the cost of debt remain constant at any level of debt. Then dividend payout ratio is 100. So the cost of debt remain constant. So that is always we know KD or cost of debt. So we use KD for cost of debt and KE for cost of capital. And the next assumption is whatever be the earnings that will be distributed among shareholders. This is the another assumption for arguing this theory. So look at the graphical representation of NI approach. Y-axis shows cost of capital and x-axis shows financial leverage or the degree of leverage. That means towards right, we are increasing the proportion of debt. So look at this. Cost of debt is 8% and cost of equity is 15%. So the arguments are correct. Cost of debt is less than cost of equity. And when you increase the leverage, what happens to overall cost of capital, or we'll say KO? It decreases. So the KO will be the minimum at the 100% debt. So this level means we are using 100% debt in the source. Okay, so net income approach, we will see a model. By using net income approach, we will calculate the value of the firm under this particular situation. So ABC Limited earned a profit of 25 lakhs before providing interest and tax. The company's capital structure is as follows. We have 4,50,000 equity shares of 10 each and its market capitalization rate is 16%. That means K is given. Then 26,000, 14% secured redeemable debentures of 150 each. You are required to calculate value of firm by using net income approach and overall cost of capital of the firm. So this is the situation. We will see how to calculate this by using the model. So these are the formula for this. If you want to calculate net income, EBIT minus interest. Then if you want to calculate a value of equity, net income divided by K into 100. If you want to calculate debt in this case, number of debt, number of debentures into price, value of the firm is equal to value of equity plus value of debt, and overall cost of capital is equal to EBIT divided by value of the firm. This is the formula we are going to use for calculating value of the firm and overall cost of capital. Okay, so we'll see. This is from the question. Profit before interest and tax. Profit before interest and tax, 24 lakhs. That is given. So if you deduct interest from this, you will get what? You will get net income. Net income available to equity shareholders. So net income available to equity shareholders is 19 lakh 54,000. So value shares at 16% capitalization rate. That means from here, from this value, we can easily derive value of equity. How? The net income available to equity shareholders divided by the KE. That means this formula, KE. So by using this same formula, you will get value of equity. So value of debt is already there because debentures is given. So value of debt is equal to number of debentures into market price of debenture. You will get value of debt. So if you take the total, you will get what? Value firm. So value of firm is equal to 1 crore 61 lakh 12,500. This is the value of the firm. If you want to calculate KO, the formula is EBIT divided by V. EBIT is 25 lakhs and V is 1 crore 61 lakh 12,500. So by using this, you will get what? We'll get total. We'll get KO, WACC or KO, overall cost of capital, 15.52%. So always we express in terms of percentage because it's cost of capital. So that's all about net income approach. Thank you.